needs more reading under it, and the commercial understanding.
Good. Yeah, that would be good to see something. If we can help in any way, that would be great if we could. Okay. We'll move into, if that's it, we'll move into old business.
Your Honor, there is no old business on this evening's agenda.
All right, good. Well, then we'll go into new business.
Your Honor, the first order of new business this evening is the 2022 City of Watervliet budget presentation.
You get the computer up here and running?
Joe, if you want to move that camera to...
Want to go that way?
Yeah, if you could. I think you just got to turn it.
I can see that. I don't think you'll need to hear the microphone. I think you're going to all be able to hear me okay. So here we are with the 2022 citywide budget presentation for the upcoming fiscal year. As I did last year, I wanted to thank those all that helped during the course of the process. Most importantly, most especially, is Amanda for the hours and the time she did. She took the lead with all the departmental meetings this year, and she pulled in Jenny Marzio, our deputy finance director, as well meeting with all the council members and all the departments represented. 21, life began again. COVID hit us in 21 when this administration first started, so the world kind of closed down, and 2020 became an interesting year. As 2021 began, we started coming out of COVID. Agencies are still in a hybrid type of office setting. We've been realizing many delays with a lot of state agencies trying to get contracts through, whether that be existing. And now we have to go through reissuing contracts we've had, specifically like with a company like Dasney, where we had projects dating back to 2019. Those type of contracts have since sunsetted, and now we're finding out where we were, and certainly trying to get back to what we thought was normal, but it's going to take a little bit of time. But we are getting there. So where are we heading in 2022? We are looking at staffing. That was the unfortunate thing about coming into an existing organization, at least from my perspective. Shortly after we got here, like I say, the world kind of changed and things closed. I didn't get a full appreciation how the city of Watervliet operated. And as we started coming out in 2021, there are the needs for positions, there are the needs for reorganizing departments, doing desk audits to see how departments actually run, because now we are actually, I would almost say, at 90% operational. So we'll be doing those type of assessments in all the different departments. So when we're asked for various positions, we can have tried and true information that in fact is warranted. But commitments, I think one of the things you're going to see in this budget is the commitment that this administration is doing on city facilities, reservoir, and equipment. One thing, noticing, in various departments, we never really had the tools we needed to do the work that's expected of us, and that's what the commitments we're going to have in this budget and what was preparing in 2021. Well, I guess that's the bottom of our plan. We are making a commitment to the reservoir. This is a boat we just purchased. You can see Dave Dressel out on the boat. It's going to be for the harvesting of our water chestnuts. And right there is Councilwoman Diamond driving the boat as well.
Can you zoom in on that, Joe?
That's okay.
I can. One of the ways I thought the budget, helping with the budget as well, is we could start getting rides on that boat at $25. So obviously interesting for revenues there. But there's a commitment, long-standing. It's going to be at least a 5 to 10 year process to eradicate a good portion of the water chestnuts that occupy our reservoir. We got about a 500-acre reservoir, about 173 are compromised with it, and purposely looking at, on the lake, some of those chestnuts will remain because they're going to act as a filtration system as water comes off one of the main creeks that feed our reservoir. But that boat right there was purchased in this year's funding. It was approximately about $19,000, which is inclusive of that trailer that we got trailed.
2021 funding.
2021 budget, yes.
Water.
Water, yes. Again, commitments, municipal pool improvements. We were very fortunate that a gentleman from the city of Watervliet, Mr. Scott Earl, did very well for himself in the refuge business. He donated $500,000. These are the plans that he designed, or made us design, I should say, worked with us to design a water park. It started with just that little area right there for kids, and we were about $100,000 into design, and he said, I'll give you $500,000 if you could make it all inclusive for the other kids as well. So that park is currently being designed as well. We're working on the infrastructure designs to let that out for construction or for concrete work. That green pad, that blue pad will be constructed over the winter months, and then the tan around it will be poured before or after first frost. So that'll be the new addition to the Watervliet. You probably saw this before in a paving program. 2022 is when we're going to start to implement this program along with our CSO project, which is the combined sewer outlets. We talked a little bit about this. It is a rating system of all our streets. You can see over here, as to how the rating is. Blue being 5, which is the best, 1 being red, which is the worst. So every one of our streets was walked. We looked at it, we categorized it, but then what we added on top of this plan right here is our CSO. We're under consent order that we have to separate our sewer system and our water system, and that's going to be taking place in 22 and 23. 22 being the ovals, which is black, and 23 being the purple. What that helps us do is we know where we're doing it and what the pavement is as it exists today, and as we get to them, we'll be closing those projects up curb to curb with new pavement. So that was a great planning tool that the council agreed to go forward with, and now we'll have this to go on and prove to it. Again, commitments to vehicles, equipment, and so on going forward. The police picked up 2 new vehicles in 21 funding. They kind of fell into our hand, if you will. The city of the town of Niskayuna had ordered 2. They wanted them white, but they came in black. We happened to get a phone call that 2 of them came in. So those 2 police cars, which are getting all gussied up, like they use with the lettering and lighting. Right now, that'll be about $90,000 between the 2 there. When winter flies, you'll see our new Ford F-750, which is currently getting fit out with the Salter, donated through Albany County. They had one left over, and a plow that we took off of the 1999 International, and we're getting that retrofitted here. And then, of course, our Ventrax, which we purchased at the end of last year, which has a snow blower, a cab attachment. What we've just added this year, we've added a leaf blower that you probably will see out on the streets blowing the leaves around. And as well, we also retrofitted 2 of the existing Ford F-250s with snow plows, so they'll be helping our winter fleet. Citywide project we're going to see in 2022, economic development. We're going to strengthen the planning and zoning by training our boards. Go through the process, what their roles are, look at what they can and cannot do, and then hopefully as we start to climb out of COVID and some other things that we have, we're going to start embracing some economic ideas in order to see some incentivizing coming into the city, incentivizing some projects. But everything that's happening below this, improvements to Hudson Shores Park. We're looking at a restaurant pad, a boat company that we're talking with now, shoreline maintenance. We have replacement. We have City Hall improvements again that we're working through, Congress Street Bridge study that we saw and adopted, and as well as hopefully the Dutch Reformed Church. For all those years we've been talking that to use it as a court feasibility study that we currently have underneath us. We get that finalized to tell us yes or no to proceed and go forward. But also within the economic development side of things, this year's budget also includes the addition of a planner. So we're hoping we'll get boots on the ground and work with our department, the general manager's department, to start looking for those companies to hopefully have some interest within the city. So let's dive into the budget. Estimated revenues. You'll see we did it as last year. We compared 2021 to 2022. We looked at in 2022 restoring those tried and true revenues, those that may have been impacted during COVID, especially like sales tax and state aid, and removing those current, non-recurring one-time items. You'll see some notable changes here, like in sales tax. We're starting to see some numbers come in that we're expecting to be very comfortable within that 3.7 million versus about 3.4 which we had last year. I think one of the other notable changes, for the most part, if you look down these lines, there's really not a whole lot of change within it. We were very conservative in our budget and our approach, as we typically were last year. Swimming pool fees are added a little bit. We think we're going to see some success within the new park that we're building there. Take a jump to the next page here. Parks and Recreation. We had a fantastic year renting out our facilities this year. You'll notice in 2021 we estimated $10,000. We actually realized $45,000. The mayor would tell you to put that into his budget so we could spend it on other things, but we'll start to use that in ways that we need to within the city, especially for our parks. But we are looking for, again, our parks to support the enhancements that we're doing through the city. I think just in the short time that this administration started focusing on the park system, you can see the change in use of Hudson Shores Park, as well as some of the other parks around us, and also like the Ridge Dome areas. State aid has been good. That's coming back in numbers that were supported. Again, this is a safe approach to what we're going to see for 2022 at 1.2 million. And one notable one as well at the bottom there is the federal aid that's related to the fire department. They received a $400,000 grant, which was to offset training and overtime. That number's been slowly reduced after the year that we received it in. And this year, 2022, that $57,000 represents really the balance left in that grant and closing that grant out. Revenues, which will total $6,628,093. That number will carry forward to my last slide that will speak to. Expenditures. Again, we tried to maintain pretty straight, conservative approaches to spending in the fiscal year. We remained pretty flat for the most part, with the various departments. Again, we talked about commitment, and that's a resonating title or idea I want to keep here. We made a commitment to the police department this year by hiring a new recruit and most recently 2 new laterals that came forward. That puts us to 25 total within the police department, which is that number hasn't been seen since 2017. So that's inclusive of 1 chief, which happens to be here tonight, Chief Centenni, 1 lieutenant, Lieutenant Strock, 8 sergeants, and 15 patrolmen. This budget also, again, has a commitment to the police department as we work through those processes, and again, looking through those, how do departments work. Through the change of 50A and some other things that the police departments are seeing based on the way court operations are, we have the need for a discovery coordinator, which we are funding this year at 35,000. And that 35,000 translates to a retired policeman who has that understanding, that wherewithal of what to look for when doing discovery items and or FOIL items, and what needs to be redacted in order to give out. That 35,000 represents a cap in what a policeman can make from being newly retired or whatever that situation is. Flip to fire department, again, a fully staffed department, one chief, 4 captains, 4 lieutenants, and 16 firemen. We made a change in our code department this year, although a little bit of change here. We're still down about a half-time employment person, an FTE, but we are bringing in, and we've tested for and hiring 2 new full-time code enforcement people. We have one on staff, and then he came in as of the 8th of November, and we hope to get our secondary full-time one on board relatively soon. You'll see a change here also in the highway department. That's based on what we'll be voting on this evening, some of the contractual agreements that are due from 2021 and for 2022 going forward, but also some of the maintenance items that the department needs, our garage doors and things like that, again, that have historically been left behind, and now we're just replacing some of those needs. Another item that we have is our recreation department. With the new splash pad that we have, we know we're going to have needs for extra eyes on our playfield, so we're looking at adding lifeguards and also other employment opportunities there as well. We think we won't have a problem finding lifeguards this year, because I think everybody's going to want to work at our city splash pad. One of the other things we saw here was a reduction in refuge. Costs at landfills have gone down, so we're translating that into savings within that towards the city. Again, economic development is another change in line item here comparatively. That's because we're committing to a planner in that department, and we also have a program manager or a project manager that we hired back in July. He was hired through the WOW program, which is also having to deal with refuge. So his salary is directly reflected there, and we get offset for that. The planner position is most important to look forward. So let's summarize our revenues and expenses to see where we are. We're estimating expenditures for the year of $12,194,000, and that'll be offset with the balance budget for estimated revenues of $6.6 million, and raised in our property tax that we have is 5.5. What is that going to net out to? That means 0% tax increase for 2022 for the residents of the city of Watervliet. I know Amanda, again, did a wonderful job with all their departments trying to get to this. I think it's a frugal budget. It took a lot of consideration as to some of our needs in the various departments as to staffing and those. So I think this is a very tight, very fiscally sound budget. So next steps for 2022, and what's the process for tonight? We're going to need to call a public hearing. That public hearing is going to be held on the 2nd of December, and anticipating a budget vote that evening to go forward. And that is the end of the budget.
Excellent. Joe, you can move that.
Thanks.
Any questions on the presentation for Joe?
The only question I have is with respect to the position, the new position, with respect to economic development.
Yes.
What's the process to go recruit or attract and interview a candidate?
Well, one of the things I'm going to be looking for, and talking to some engineering firms that I've been working with over the years, is they are, typically those engineers are adjuncts in colleges locally that teach economic development. Prime example of someone who teaches that is Lindsay. Zeppo.
Yep.
She came here and did our bridge study. She's over at SUNY Albany. I'd be working with them directly to say, send me, somebody new to look for, and who is, got promise in the planning department, and work with them together.
Good.
So, yeah,
Good. And I think sooner rather than later.
absolutely.
So we can get that process started before the budget begins in January 1st.
Absolutely.
Right?
What I actually was talking to Lindsay, we did a walk around from a traffic.
I'm a big
flow.
fan of Lindsay's too.
Yeah.
So I think she's great.
Yeah, well, she and James Rath and I did a walk around the entire park, encompassing 16th Street all the way down to the Dome and then back. And during that conversation, this position came up. And she is going to be looking at that one that might need some summer intern or some intern hours all now during the course of school, which hopefully will translate in the position at the close of that school system, of that school year.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
No, I think it's, I know we've been working really hard and dedicated on the work that we accomplished during the course of the year and what we're planning on for next year, and still maintaining a 0% increase is,
Good job, Amanda.
Great job.
Great job, Amanda.
big job for everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
For everybody here. I mean, it's not just a one person,
Absolutely.
thing on that post. There's a lot of effort that went into
Mostly
it.
Amanda.
That's it?
Mostly Amanda.
Mostly. Mostly.
She does the math.
All right. There's no other questions on that, on the
You
public
say no,
hearing?
she does, you say no, she does the math.
Yeah. We'll go into the first resolution there, Dave. Would you read it?
The first resolution is number 9845. The Council of the City of Watervliet hereby authorizes Mayor Charles V. Patricelli to execute an annual agreement with the Mohawk Hudson Humane Society for the services housing stray animals within the city limits.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion, we move on the resolution.
I will second it.
Joe, can you explain the contract, please?
So, as we've talked about in the past, we're required under the ag markets law to have a place to
Try
deposit.
to,
Required under the ag markets law to have a place to.
I don't think it's
keep-
helping.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Really?
Better. Thank you.
So it's required to have a place for the animals, stray animals, mostly dogs, to be housed, either pending court proceedings or if a loose animal is found in the city. So Mohawk Hudson Humane Society is really the only game in town. So we need this agreement. The terms are about the same as last year, I want to say. So we just ask for your approval of that resolution.
That was the big thing, what the terms were from last year to this year. Okay. All right, if there's no other questions, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Councilwoman Nyman,
In favor?
Councilman Torncello,
In favor.
Mayor Patricelli.
In favor?
Resolution number 9846 is a resolution ratifying a memorandum of agreement between the City of Watervliet and the Civil Service Employees Association and authorizing Mayor Charles V. Patricelli to execute same.
Mayor, I will make a motion that we move on resolution number 9846.
I'll second that.
So very briefly on this one, we met with the CSGA union. He feels like 10 times over, starting in the spring and through the summer and into the early fall. The terms I don't feel the need to get into during the public part of the meeting, but they're all set out in the memorandum of agreement. I do think that everybody came to the table hoping to reach an agreement to reasonable positions. And I think CSGA in particular should be lauded for their willingness to talk about issues that the city has. We have made some significant changes regarding retiree health insurance in particular. And I believe that under the circumstances, the MOA is fair and reasonable. And we would ask for your support of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Are there any other questions here? Everybody's received a copy of it?
Yes.
Okay, so if there's no other questions, I'll ask for a roll, please.
Councilwoman Diamond?
Favor?
Councilman Torricello?
In favor.
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor.
Resolution number 9847. This is a resolution approving an agreement between the City of Watervliet and the Watervliet School District regarding a school resource officer program and authorizing Mayor Charles V. Patricelli to execute same.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion, we move on resolution number 9847.
I will second that.
Mayor, if you don't mind, and council, I'm going to have Chief Centeni speak a little bit to this, if you don't mind. Sure. A little bit. Sure.
So this has been something that I've spoke to the mayor and the general manager about a lot since my appointment to chief, and it's been very important for us as a police agency and the city to reestablish this relationship with the school. So after much effort, sitting down with the school district, I'm really happy to say that we're moving forward with this. I was just at the school board meeting at 6 o'clock, and it passed there also. So with the approval here tonight, we've got some of the pieces in place. But what we are looking for is, upon approval of this, Officer Negron has been selected as our school resource officer, and he will start December 1st in the school. He's actually doing some things now with the school to hit the ground running, and they are as excited as we are about this partnership. And it's beneficial not just for the school district and the students, faculty, and staff, not just the residents of the city of Watervliet that have children in those schools, but my experience with this is relatively extensive with the city of Troy, and it definitely goes beyond into much greater parts of the city. So it's not just for those that have children in the district. This relationship is beneficial to all of the residents. So I thank all of you for your consideration and helping us work through this, in particular the mayor and the general manager. Thank you very much for that. Anything specific for me that you want to?
Chief, it's not a 5-day-a-week thing, right? It's less than 5?
3.
3 days?
3 days a week at the school, 2 days a week back at the department.
Okay.
We worked it out to a decent amount of flexibility based on the needs of the school in comparison to the needs of the department. So it's very fair.
Is he sort of off duty as soon as the school gets out, like 2:18, or is he?
No, it's 8 to 4.
8 to 4.
7:30 to 3:30, 8
Yeah,
to 4,
whatever.
based
So,
on
okay.
the needs of the school. Yes, I know.
But I didn't know if he comes back. I didn't know if he comes back here.
No, he's going to come back here. So he's going to be there for the kids getting to school and making sure they're out of school. And a lot of times there's after-school programs. So if it extends to 4 o'clock, there are days that he'll be there until 4. But if for some reason it's done, he'll come back to the police department until his end of the shift at 4 o'clock.
No, Chief, I think it's a great opportunity for us. I think in light of the review board, the time spent with the residents and talking about that, and this alone, I think is just right in tune where we should be. And I'm very happy to support this. I'm looking forward to it. And as you say, I think I do want to be, up there as well.
Absolutely.
Sure. Or any one of us.
They're going
as well.
The kids are going to love to see us.
Oh, absolutely. Not all of them.
I do think you're right, though. I think it just engenders that relationship between the city and the police and all of the students, and it helps everybody in the community, not just the kids that are at the school.
It's not just about fighting crime. It's not just about them giving us information and us sharing it. It's that school resource officer. Historically, Lieutenant Schrock was one in the city of Troy for a while, but you get to know kids in those social settings even more so than in school, but outside of school, to where you're able to identify things that many other people aren't able to identify. So
I think it's great.
It has great benefits.
Just a little side comment. This is, I think, the important part about.
That's where the shot.
Well, no, it's nothing. It's that it's important for the school, but it's also important, because I can remember my daughter growing up, and one of the police officers stopped and said they knew everybody by name, and she swore that they had pictures of them in the car. That's what community policing is. They know who they're talking to. They know they know the residents, and I think that's important. So that helps. Thank you.
It's great.
You got it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Okay, if there's no other comments or questions, we'll ask for a roll.
Councilwoman Diamond?
In favor?
Excuse me, Councilman Torricello?
In favor.
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor.
Resolution number 9848 is a resolution clarifying the terms of the members of the Watervliet Tree Committee and appointing and/or reappointing members thereto.
Mayor, I will make a motion that we move on resolution number 9848.
And I'll second that.
Yeah, so this resolution is actually appointing Eli Sands to the committee and then reappointing all the other members to the terms that were laid out in the charter. And when we added 5 members to this committee, we then changed the timing, so this puts everything in line now to be equal to that.
Great. Questions? Call the roll, please.
Questions?
Councilwoman Diamond?
In favor?
Councilman Torricello?
In favor.
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor.
Resolution number 9849, a resolution approving an agreement between the City of Watervliet and the Watervliet Arsenal for transportation, treatment, and disposal of sanitary sewage originating at the Watervliet Arsenal and authorizing and directing Mayor Charles V. Patricelli to execute same.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on resolution number 9849.
And I will second that.
Quite sure if there's any need for questions, but or
Yeah, Amanda's got it.
Oh, Amanda's got it?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Amanda.
No, that's fine. So this is our agreement with the Arsenal. We have one for water and we have one for sewer. This one in particular is for sewer. It was up in May, I believe. And they follow our out-of-town rate that is passed by the council.
So this is like a yearly, just re-upping it again? Or
It is not yearly. I do not recall the term.
Okay, but it's just a usual?
It was several years. I
Yeah.
get the
Oh,
amount.
oh, okay.
Might have been 10.
Yeah, I think it was 10.
Yeah, I think it was 10.
Call the roll.
Councilwoman Diamond?
In favor?
Councilman Torricello?
In favor.
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor.
Resolution number 9850 is a resolution approving an agreement between the City of Watervliet and the Town of Colony for garbage, trash, refuse, and recyclable removable services in the Maplewood area of the Town of Colony, and authorizing Mayor Charles V. Patricelli to execute the same.
Mayor, I will make a motion that we move on resolution number 9850.
And I will second that.
So at the end of December, we're going to be ending our 2-year contract with the Town of Colony to do services for Maplewood. This contract will extend it to 2023. We're also raising the revenues a little bit, but based on the fact that recyclables have come way, way down, there's nothing in the contract for the next 2 years, but there is a clause in there that should the market adjust itself, we'll be able to open that contract back up and discuss the recycling. Also included with this is they give us up to 300 ton, and we're at about 298 right now. So we'll get that, that's free and inclusive of the rate for the contract.
Good, excellent. Okay. Questions?
No.
No questions.
Call the roll.
Councilwoman Diamond?
In favor?
Councilman Torricello?
In favor.
Mayor Patricelli?
In favor.
Your Honor, that concludes the new business on this evening's agenda.
Okay. Anything under appropriations to come?
We sold our van today. Our rate is 0.42%. Pioneer has been really good to us. So this van was for the bike path and the lead line. It's $2.5 million, and we took it out last December, and I think the rate was 0.52%. So it came in even lower this year. Pioneer won the bid, and that'll close on the 30th of November.
Good.
It's done.
All right. Very good. All right. Is there any other thing to be brought? That we want to talk about? I know we'll have a council meeting beforehand, but just for the record, our tree lighting will be December 4th. I don't believe there's anything too much else between now and then, is there? We had a very successful COVID booster shot at the Dome Wednesday. Tuesday, I forget, the days are flying. So we had, I mean, I think we had 123 shots that at the Dome. I think that went over very well. I don't believe there's anything else. With that, we'll open up for public comment.
At this time, the mayor and the council have authorized a public comment period. We ask that you please come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record. And you will have 2 minutes to address the council on any items you wish.
Go ahead.
All in the right hand.
Good evening, everybody. How are you?
Good, good.
Matt Morrissey, co-owner of Davidoff Masonry. Work with Dave. We're also, we own the house that's at 309 26th Street. And we wanted to come and talk to you about the conversation that we had with the gentleman that owns the property where our water line did exist. What had happened was we actually went there and he was outside, and we spoke with him, and basically he was telling us that in 2011 the line was cut. The city was involved with that when it was cut, and all the people that we could be asking, he has fought against, with all of his properties, against having this on any of his properties. So we literally talked to the worst person we could probably talk to, because he's completely against allowing us to go on his property to connect in.
Why was it cut?
He actually sued the city, so there should be a record of it somewhere. He said that it took him 4 years to get the city to allow him to remove it, because there was a problem at some point and he didn't want people digging up his property. So he went and got a little attorneys, and whatever happened, and the city, I guess, said, cut it.
Again, we
But
literally
this is
talked to
from
the
him.
worst
I have
person
no
we could
idea.
have talked to in the entire city.
Yeah, that's not the answer
Right.
anybody expected.
Right, so, and he's had 3 other properties in Watervliet that I guess he did the same thing to.
Right.
I don't know any of them, I don't know, I'm just telling you what he told us. He was really nice about it, but he's like, there's no way, you're not too bad.
He's like, I don't want to get involved. He's like, but he's like, no way am I.
So, when I talked to my attorney that we purchased the house from,
Yeah.
we did title searches, taxes, we did everything possibly possible that we're supposed to when we buy a house. The water was supplied to this house by the city of Watervliet, and the tenant that owned it was paying a water bill, and it was cut 11 years ago. I have been paying a water bill, and I have no water to the building. So all we're asking is for the city to give us water. I don't know how we're gonna do it, I don't know, but there was water there, so I'm asking to put it back. And I don't know,
We never budgeted for what it's going to take.
Yeah.
I got $28,000 into the rehab, and then we went to turn the water on. When I called the city to turn it on, they're like, there's no water here.
We've been talking about this process since, or this problem since you had it last time, and I think you kind of like jumped ahead of Joe, because I think he has a.
Yeah, actually, this morning, the mayor sent me your email. I wanted to get together with you guys along with Dave Dressel. What we're looking at doing, because we looked at all the routes of the piping, the way the mains are going and so on. My biggest concern is creating a dead end, bringing something up, because it's one thing you don't want to do in a water system. So we're thinking of either coming out on 3rd or 4th, and that's why we have to meet with you guys, is to trench, have the city open up a trench for you. Dave thinks it'll probably be about a 2-day excavation, which we think right now that would be our portion of it to do, and then you could just connect directly to that yourself. But we'll talk that out in the room and go from there just to see.
Who's gonna put the road and stuff back?
That's all stuff we have to talk about.
Because we want to work it out, but I've been here my whole life, my family's been here, we want to
so,
work with
yeah.
the city,
Yeah.
So-
But I know within our code, we would also like to separate these houses, and there are several more that do exist. We were fortunate enough, and unfortunate for the property owner, but there was a house on 7th Avenue that unfortunately caught fire. They took it down. We were working hand in hand with that individual as well, up until the time when she retook everything out of the ground. That meant foundation. So at that point, it became new construction, and then the new construction code said she was then required to bring the services herself to to that. So we want to work with you, we
Yeah,
want to figure out that way.
I
down
have
and
no
then-
problem with that. What I was thinking is, because I already talked to Scott from Greenwood, so I know him personally, and we do a lot of work together. So I already talked to him about coming from my house out to the road and going all the way up to your main, and I would excavate all of that.
Yeah,
My concern would be, I know Watervliet has a disturbance permit fee or something, I think that's very expensive. So I would need to get that waived, because I think that's
well-
like $8,000 or something.
I don't know anything about that.
I don't know either, but I'm
Why don't we
saying.
why don't we get together with Joe? I think we
That's
can
what I
work
think.
it out.
Yeah,
I think we
we'll
can get
work-
together
we'll
and
do
work
whatever
it out
we
with
can
Joe.
Yeah.
I think you're willing to do something. I
Of
think
course, I have no problem
Meet you halfway.
putting money
More
in
than
this out
halfway.
there and do something, that's the way it all.
Yeah, no problem.
Good.
Thank you very much, Council, we really appreciate it.
No,
So Joe, I'll
appreciate
give you a call. Thank you.
yeah, now, I don't know how soon you're trying to move this. Unfortunately, Dave leaves tomorrow for vacation at the end of the day.
Oh, no.
We were trying to figure this, so he does go away for 2 weeks. If I can get something together tomorrow with him, so we could all
Of
talk,
course.
we'll start the conversations, and then hopefully we can
Yeah,
continue there.
Yeah, that'd be great. I
Okay.
appreciate your time, thank you so
Yep.
much again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you. Anyone else?
Council members, Mayor, I'm here because of.
Can you just say your name and address,
Oh,
please?
sorry. Rita King at 1809 4th Avenue in Watervliet. I'm here to voice some concerns with a company that's operates behind me, the spa wholesaler. The constant noise at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. in the morning, every day of the week. Wasn't this bad 10 years ago, but as the company has grown, so has the noise, the crew members. They have 5 or more crew members, the machines, the traffic, the customers, my home. This is my backyard, this is my bedroom, that I'm woken up basically, if I'm home Saturdays, Sundays, 8 a.m. in the morning due to all this noise. I've complained to the general manager, I've been to some meetings, they're not supposed to be operating on Sundays, but they continue to operate on Sundays. I've sent videos, pictures to the general manager as well as the mayor. Not quite sure what to do anymore. I mean, I just keep complaining and nothing ever changes, so I'm here tonight to see if I can get any help from the city at all to address this problem.
Can I speak to that as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so with your last complaint, and I know it has taken some time, I was able to pull back information on variances and everything that were granted back to 2009. I know the mayor and I just got an email, as well as council as well. I was able to pull out and find on the record his hours of operation Monday through Saturday. So at least at this point in time, the only thing I can do is send him a violation of the hours of operation. I'm actually putting that together now so I can review it and then issue that violation where he cease and desist any operations on a Sunday. It is a non-conforming use under zoning. I haven't finalized my finding on how they were able to expand the use or why, but that's what I'm getting through as well now. So I know unfortunately it's taken time, but doing something like this and making sure that a business, complies with it is a little bit tough. But I know Brian will probably have, that language with the next
Yeah,
meeting.
because it seems like they're, with the noise ordinance laws of the city, if I have to listen to banging and clanging and the foul language from the crew members and the machines and the customers, and this is my backyard.
Yeah.
I can't do gardening in my yard. I mean, they're completely taking it over here. And I've lived in Watervliet most of my life. I've lived in this home for 20 years, and I'd like to continue with some peace and quiet.
Has their footprint gotten larger? Or is it just there's more traffic
They've grown
physically?
Yeah.
as a business, definitely.
Yeah, but
10 years
Right.
ago, I used to have a pool in my yard, and they didn't really exist. It was pretty quiet back there, occasional. Now they have crew members full-time, every day, 8 to 5, Monday through Sunday. It's out of control.
But I
And
think-
it's gotten pretty conflicting too, because the police have been called now. There's been accidents, they're peeling out tires, there's been vulgar language. I sent the mayor a video with them swearing at me now, I've been taking videos of us, and so now it's becoming to the point where I'm constantly stressed out about this in my own home, in my own backyard.
Okay.
They have no respect.
I have the video.
And I have an entire phone filled with years of it. The last few years anyway. So I beg and plead that I can get some help and some peace and quiet in my home.
Yeah.
Without being woken up on a
No,
Saturday morning
I
after
agree.
working all week
No,
at 8 a.m.
We
in
get
the
it,
morning.
I get it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Brian? Okay. All right, if there's no other further comments, then we'll close the meeting.
Close.
Close the
hearing.
public comment period.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, there's no need to go into executive session, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And with that being said, let's wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on December 2nd?
Second.
All right, we'll have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion that we adjourn, Your Honor.
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Diamond,
Favor?
Councilman Torricelli,
In favor.
Mayor Patricelli.
In favor. All right, thank you, everybody.